So most of Edge of Eternities has been spoiled, save for a handful of draft comments, so it's time to give some thoughts. First, let me say that I am thrilled to be back in-universe for this set. Final Fantasy is cool and all, but I really don't agree with the current Universes Beyond business model. If you want to hear more of my opinions on that, I'll put a card link to that video. Mind the mic quality, since it wasn't as good as it is now though, just a fair warning. With that out of the way, first things first, I'll comment on the command zone count. Now, between legendary creatures and space stations that meet the command zone criteria, there are only 22 new commanders in this set, and that's counting the precons. Now, this on its face isn't inherently an issue. Ever since Commander has been popularized, we definitely have been experiencing legend bloat. However, we just came off Final Fantasy where it feels like every other card was a legendary creature. So what gives? Is this the kind of treatment we can expect going forward? I don't mind a set being a little light on legendary creatures, but I don't like the precedent being set here. Universes Beyond products will be pumped out and marketed as these new legends that are a must-have in your command zone. Put your favorite characters all up in there. But the in-universe set takes a blow because of it? It just doesn't seem fair. Now, there is a little bit of hope, and for this set specifically, it does kind of make sense to have a light legendary creature count. We're off in the far reaches of space, and there's not a lot out here, including not a lot of people. In fact, I would say it's more immersive this way, since I'd rather have this than a whole lot of recognizable characters and space helmets and just get another hat set. I mean, sure, there's the ability to jump between planes and gates and planeswalk and whatnot, but I'm kind of glad there's not a lot of recognizable faces in this regard. I like it going back to the feeling where we visit a new set and we get to see a whole bunch of new people. Obviously, in our modern age, we have moved away from that status quo and established a new one. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that Edge of Eternities is pushed against the grain here, especially considering it's a setting that would be rather immersion-breaking to see a vast swath of characters we already knew. I mean, Tezzeret is here, but it does kind of make sense, doesn't it? And with all this combined, I think it prevents the set from receiving the classic hat set criticism. It also helps move away from the Kellen is the hero problem and the Jace is everywhere problem and Lute is our new baby Yoda. Look, I don't have any issues with these characters in particular, but they have been showing up a lot when the universe is vast with interesting characters and personalities and civilizations to explore. And considering Magic the Gathering does not follow a manga, anime, TV show, or movie or anything like that, there's less of a necessity to have the same characters appearing over and over. Now, I think Murders at Karlov Manor and Thunder Junction had a lot of interesting cards and set mechanics that got somewhat pushed to the wayside because of their label as a hat set. Hopefully, even though this set has strong sci-fi and space theming, it can avoid this label for all these reasons. And I do want to touch on some interesting cards from this set, but before I do, I want to talk about the fact that Edge of Eternities has collector boosters. Now, there are two basic mindsets when it comes to collector boosters that I have seen. Either you appreciate that they make money for Wizards, or more aptly Hasbro, and as a result they keep the cost of play boosters down, or you see them as a shameless cash grab to tickle the dopamine center for those who might enjoy a bit of gambling and exploiting and profiting off that. Both points do have validity because on one hand, it's nice if this is what really keeps play boosters accessible to a wider audience. And all the collector boosters really do is foil out a card or two. On the other hand, collector boosters might not even be the item facilitating that accessible price. It could just as easily be the way purchase trends move with supply and demand and such. And instead they just exist as that cash grab item that can earn Hasbro more money for basically no effort. I don't know how much more I want to get into this though, because even though I have a degree in mathematics, economics was never really my thing. Ultimately, most boosters are only worth it if you're doing it for fun. And if you're trying to make a quick buck on the secondary market, you're actually just making the company money and probably throwing your money away. This is exactly why people chant the classic mantra, just buy singles. One last thing to go over before I move on to mechanical stuff is I want to talk about the art. All of it is absolutely stunning. I could probably make a whole video gushing about how much I like stargazy, void-esque aesthetics. The celestial basic lands have a wonderful feeling of movement as ships whip around the beautiful landscapes. The viewport lands evoke a strong feeling of experiencing a new place and the magic mana it produces for the first time. Both the secluded Starforge arts are fantastic in different ways, and I genuinely cannot tell which I'd rather have. The Stellar Sights lands are some of my favorites as the scale is immense and enchanting. Ironically though, these are also the art where I do have a couple of minor critiques. I've had a few of my dyslexic friends mention that they do have some trouble reading the names of these lands, but the rules text is fine. I also don't know what's the deal with these foreground ships. I don't think they look that good, but hey, if you like them, more power to you. And don't get me wrong, the art is beautiful. I just think it looks a little bit off for me. But the mainstay of the art more than makes up for these minor issues, in my opinion. Dawnsire's Sunstar Dreadnought seems very interesting in the 99 with Repercussion or Brash Taunter. Avendo Brushracker seems like excellent card advantage in mono red. Depth Shaker Titan seems like a great way to bring games to a close in red artifact decks. Planetary Annihilation seems like fair land destruction to stick it to those Simic Turbo Rampers without screwing over the non-land ramping colors. Okay, stepping out of red, Umbral Collar Zealot is a new unbounded sack outlet. Famished Worldsire is a fun way to gamble with your land count, and worst case scenario, you get a huge body. Frenzied Baloth will ruin your local blue mage's day. This card can also help you achieve the classic commander damage or infect cheese workaround on Teferi's protection. Sathera the Super Void is a new twist on a Dictate of Erebos-like effect. It is less mean since it will blow itself up, but it also lets you get a little bit more value once it blows up as well. That being said, it probably won't play well into Voltron. Mightform Harmonizer turns everyone into Green Tifa, and Virulent Silencer makes me and my mere brethren all the much deadlier. Warp seems weirdly abusable since you can get ETBs, LTBs, and even cast from a place other than your hand. Void is a little bit scarier as well because unlike Morbid, it just needs a thing to leave the battlefield, not necessarily die. It definitely will cover up a whole lot of niche cases that Morbid would have missed. And I am super excited to see that Lander tokens are relatively accessible outside of green, so hopefully the other colors can be catching up on that land count. Well, I think that's about all I have to say about Edge of Eternities for now. I might make a video about commanders I'm interested in building. Before you go, I do want to highlight someone who I haven't gotten the chance to do yet. My mirror artist, Okna. I haven't had the chance to talk about her because she really didn't have any socials to rep, and now she does. You can find her on Blue Sky rambling about her VTuber model that she's making and may never use. She also has a bunch of really sick art that might be showing up there as well. Definitely worth a follow. Speaking of Blue Sky, I'm on there, so if you want to engage with me outside of the comment section, that's the place to do it. I'm also on TikTok where I post pretty much the same thing that I do on YouTube Shorts, so if that's an easier platform to engage with my short form content, check that out. All of these links will be in the description, and don't forget to like and subscribe on the way out. It really helps the algorithm push small creators like me. And as always, have a good one.